All right. So we are looking at the profile project, which is going to be our second major grade for this grading cycle. This is going to be the grade that checks your understanding of the intrapersonal communication unit, understanding how you communicate with yourself to better communicate with others. The idea is this project is going to show the world what you are thinking about on a daily basis. Since we cannot say out loud what is in our heads, otherwise that makes it interpersonal communication, we will make a profile to represent these ideas. So I know that the term rent-free lives on Twitter and a lot of social media and a lot of things that you guys just know about. So this is essentially what this assignment is. Talking about things that live in your brain rent-free. You will be expected to display appropriate pictures in a slideshow format that represents what you like, dislike, what your goals, what your dreams are, places you want to go, things you want to do, etc., etc. Remember that positive thinking is the goal of life, so let's start here with positive images and thoughts. A minimum of 20 items, that's 210, or I guess not 2010, but you get the idea. 20 items will be required to earn full credit for the assignment. Limit your images to no more than 4 on a single slide. No thoughts, head empty. I understand, Clint, completely. Items that are considered inappropriate include drug paraphernalia, alcohol references, any type of suggestive clothing or lack thereof, gang symbols, tagging of any kind, foul language. You know what you got to do and what you can't do, so I don't need to go over that. But this is a summative or a major grade. So this is a Google slideshow, right? Now, if you get to one of your blank slides, it's going to look like this. There's a place for you to put 4 images. 13, 14, 15, 16. Number your pictures on the slide itself. Type the meaning of each picture in the speaker notes below. Mr. Smith, what are the speaker notes below? I'm glad you asked. So people have used Google Slides before, but did you know that there's this little thing down here that if you click on it, a little hand appears and you can pull it up and you could type an entire paragraph about your slides down here if you wanted to, but who has the time? So don't do that. But essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking pictures and then you're going to be pasting them on here, and then you're just going to explain the pictures as to why they are part of your interpersonal communication, why they're part of your brain, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and look through some of the ones that I already have so far. So first we've got Dr. Stone, which is an anime that I am very, very interested in. It is about a post-apocalyptic society where they have to restart humanity using the power of science. It's interesting and very cool, and I like it a lot. Then I have the Kingdom Hearts characters because the first game came out when I was in elementary school. The second game came out when I was in high school. The third game came out when I was a high school teacher. And I'm assuming, based on that, the fourth game will come out after the heat death of the universe. So eventually, they'll finish the very complicated story. But it's a part of my childhood and teenagehood and adulthood, so I included it. It's a really good franchise. The next picture that I had is the Galapagos Islands. I got a chance to go to the Galapagos Islands when I was in college. It was a very fun experience, and I can't wait to go back. And then the last one is writing. Just a picture of writing, because writing is fun for me. It's very relaxing. It's therapeutic. It's how I get my ideas out, and it's how I communicate with the outside world, mostly. Next one is something I dislike, which is quitting. Now, quitting a job, I understand completely. Like in terms of like your individual freedoms, your individual autonomy, go off, do whatever you need to do. But in terms of like quitting with like school, that was something that I never really understood because like the world gets harder if you don't go to school. And so it can be very, very tough. And so what I put right here in my explanation is I don't like quitting. I understand being frustrated, but giving up should not be where the conversation ends. So if you need to quit something, you need to figure out what you need to do next before you actually quit. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing random nonsense. Then I drew a panini because so I kept the panini press in the English workroom for like years and years and years. And I used to make really, really good sandwiches. But because of COVID, we had to get rid of all of that stuff because they had to clean the surfaces of the tables. So I threw my panini press in the garbage. But then I moved up to the math workroom, and for some reason, they don't have those rules. Curious. Anyway, then I have my favorite movie of the last decade, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's really funny. Then I have the video game. Not because it's my favorite video game, but it reminds me of my favorite type of video games, which are couch co-op games. So like you can like sit down and you can play with 3 other people like throughout the whole thing, and it's really fun. And it reminds me of a different part of my life. I'm halfway through. I have a picture of Osaka, Japan. That is a place that I would really like to go. I want to take in the culture because, as you know, Mr. Smith is a huge weeb, And so, because of that, I need to go to Japan at some point in my life before I die because it'll be fun. Then I put Boys Like Girls self-titled album. We talked about this literally yesterday, but it's one of my favorite albums from high school, and I still listen to it from time to time. I still think it has no skips. It is a very good album. So hopefully you guys have the general idea for what you want to do with this assignment, and hopefully you understand how to do it. You're basically just going to Google search something. So let's all right now open up a new tab, Google search something you like. Okay. So for me, I'm going to pick community because I need to include that. My favorite TV show of all time. So I need to make sure that it is part of my. This is a good picture. Let's use this one. Okay. We'll go back to my assignment, and then I'll paste it over. And although it should absolutely take up the entire slot, I'm not going to have I'm not going to have it do that. So since this is one of my images, I'm going to go ahead and explain it right here. Community is my favorite television show. Funny writing and real characters. Okay. Can we include more than one type of thing so I can include more than one band or album? Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can. Also, a lot of students have in the past been like, Mr. Smith, instead of using pictures, can I use like audio files or like videos as part of it? I'm like, absolutely. I taught you guys how to do that at the very beginning of the year. So by all means, feel free to use that. The whole digital toolkit assignment, that was the whole point of that. You guys know how to embed videos into Google Slides. You know how to put audio in there. So 20 things. It doesn't have to be 20 images. It could be 20 things that show part of your brain. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you guys will be able to do really, really well on this assignment.